So the divine force, conqueror of the supreme good. The divine will force is that of which all the other godheads are forms, and he manifests all these powers of supreme truth as he grows in us. So Agni grows in us and manifests all the godheads, all of them, whatever they are there, whoever is there in the world of the divine mind will be manifested by Agni. Thus, the supreme state of conscious being is attained, and by that our complex and manifold existence is maintained in light and the joy. So in the light and the joy we maintain our existence by that complexity of all the devatas participating within us by his growth. The Rishi prays that the evil may not be allowed to express itself again in him, that the secret soul in us, who is the Father of all things, Father of things, but in us appears as a child of our works and our evolution, may open itself to the vast truth consciousness. The divine flame will destroy all the powers of falsehood and evil who seek to make us stumble and would rob us of our heavenly treasure. This is in the gist everything of what we have to know about Agni, actually. There is nothing more to know. He manifests all the godheads. And he protects us, and he is known to us as a child, though he is our Father, Father of all things. But because in us, in our individual framework, he doesn't have so much space, as it were. He is still a child, the divine child, the golden child, the flame child born, as Aurobindo says in Savitri, the flame child. And he grows and becomes the Lord of the universe. Let us look into the hymn. Tuvam agne varuno jaya seyat, tuvam mitro bhavasiyat samidach. Thou art he of the wideness, O will. Thou art born. When thou art born, thou becomest the Lord of love. So there are 2 footnotes, and 3 even. When thou art entirely kindled, then thou becomes the Lord of love. In thee are all the gods, O Son of Force. Thou art the power in mind, that is Indra, for the mortal who gives the offering. This is an interesting thing which put me down into deep meditation. I nearly fell asleep with this. Thou art the power in mind for the mortal who gives the offering. And I immediately saw that when we offer ourselves to the divine, we receive this power in mind. It is a kind of a condition to have the power in the mind is the offering. One has to be in the state of offering oneself to the divine. And then that power comes. Then you become powerful in the mind. Then you don't need to remember things. Then Smriti doesn't need to be activated in that sense, as you have to kind of like machine work with it. It is automatic. It is clear. The memory becomes clear. The power of the mind. You remember exactly what you have to remember in the moment you have to remember it. You don't need to work with your brain or something, or try to keep it, not to forget it. It's not this type. It's another type. Opening to the divine activates the memory. Mother says an interesting thing about it she says that if you want to increase the power of memory, you have to widen the consciousness. If you widen the scope of consciousness, the memory is improving. It's because of this wideness and calmness of the mind that the memory becomes strong. So we have a very different idea of what memory is and how it functions. And here, yes, the three footnotes. Varuna, who represents the ethereal purity and oceanic wideness of the infinite truth. Mitra, the all-embracing harmony of the truth, the friend of all beings. Therefore the Lord of love. And Indra, the ruler of our being, master of Svar, which is the luminous world of the divine mind. All three of them are mentioned here and they are identified with Agni. What is interesting for me, was interesting for me when I read this first time, was that Agni is associated with Varuna when he is born. When Agni is being born, he is Varuna. When he is fully kindled, flaming out, he is Mitra. Now this is a very intuitive, subtle kind of indication of Varuna and Mitra. Varuna is that pressure of purity and kind of wideness of our consciousness. And in this wideness and pressure, as it were, because Jayas say when you are born, to be born is the pressure is at its utmost level. Then the Agni, when in the moment he is born, before he is born, he is Varuna, but once he is born, he is Mitra. So before birth, he is Varuna. That's why Varuna is so scary for human beings. Every pressure, every brooding power, which is kind of contracted before it is flaming out. So both are Agni, that heat of purity, of preparation of being born for the flame is Varuna. Agni here, when you are being born, or Agni, you are Varuna. When you are fully kindled, you are Mitra. It is in you, O son of force, that all the gods abide. Vishvedevah, yes, Sahasas Putra, O son of force. You are Indra for the mortal who comes with the offering. Agni is here identified with the major functions of the gods involved in the sacrifice. When he is pressing with his purifying heat the unripe offering, he is Varuna, who is the power which purifies the offering. When he is fully kindled, released as it were, he is Mitra. That's why he is friend, Mitra. When the purification is over, the offering can be accepted for the total transformation. He reveals himself as the Lord of bliss and love after the heat of tapasya. For all the gods abide in him. He is also Indra, flashing his light of intuition from above, answering to man who offers himself for transformation. He is a constant revelation between the two, Agni and Indra. For if Agni aspires and moves from the earth towards heaven, then Indra inspires and moves from heaven towards earth. Sri Aurobindo describes their relation in the doctrine of the mystics, in the introduction to the hymns to the mystic fire. Indra, the puissant Next, who is the power of pure existence, self-manifested as the Divine Mind. As Agni is the one pole of force, instinct with knowledge, that sends its current upward from earth to heaven, so Indra is the other pole of light, instinct with force, which descends from heaven to earth. He comes down into our world as the hero with the shining horses and slays the darkness and division with his lightnings, pours down the light, the life-giving heavenly waters, finds in the trace of hound, intuition. The hound is the intuition, Sarama. The lost or hidden illuminations makes the sun of truth mount high in the heaven of our mentality. This is all Indra's actions. He comes down with his lightning, he sends forward Sarama, the intuition which finds the hidden illuminations in the darkness, in the cave of darkness, and releases them. That's what the Divine Mind does. And here it is identified with Agni. You, or Agni, are Indra to the one who offers himself. And then we will read about all the gods one by one, because all of them are Agni actually, in action of transformation of this nature. Tvam Aryama bhavasi yat kaninam nama svadhavan guhyam bibarshi. This is a very mysterious explanation of who Aryaman is. We met already Mitra and Varuna. Varuna, Mitra, Aryaman is the third Aditya. So now Aryaman is mentioned. Anjanti mitram suddhitam nagobhih. Yaddampatim swamanasa krinoshi. O thou who possessest self-ordering nature, Svadhavan, thou becomes the might of the aspirer. Aryaman, the might of the aspirer, thus translates Aurobindo. Aryaman, the aspiring power and action of the truth. When thou bearest the secret name of the virgins, and he has a note here, what are these secret name of the virgins? Probably, he says, the unripe radiances that our aspiration has to prepare for their union with the higher power of the soul. Aryaman holds their secret sense, the name or numen, which is manifested when aspiration arrives at the light of knowledge, and Mitra harmonizes soul and nature. Dampati samanasakra. So what is amazing here is these virgins, or these unripe aspirations which cannot be ripe because they are not yet joining the highest light of knowledge. So they are kind of intuitively feeling that they have to find their prototype or their origin or their source, divine source. In our nature there are many such aspirations of power. Our nature is made out of these aspirations. We are constantly seeking this higher embodiment of knowledge. And these unripe aspirations, these virgin powers, the secret name, the secret quintessential purpose of them, the meaning, their meaning, is known to Aryaman, to the divine behind. He knows what they are seeking. We may not know. We may, roam in the dark and try to formulate something here and there, missing the point. But he knows the central, the quintessential meaning of what we are looking for. By the way, that tells me also of of how Mother viewed how we have to communicate. It's quite interesting. She says we are never communicating properly because we are always hearing others in our own context. But to hear others, we have to rise above, far above our own preferences and our own understanding of the truth, in order to see that very truth of what people try to tell. Not what they tell, because what they tell, it may be very imperfect and very far from what they want to tell. So what they want is that quintessential name, that nomen, which we have to recognize. They may not even know that. They may be kind of doing it very imperfectly, and we are arguing on the surface always with words, with concepts. We are not arguing, we are not looking for the real need of expression. And that real aspiration, real need is there. And so Aryaman knows it. So we need Aryaman to activate that true aspiration in us, to see what people are really aspiring for. And what they are.
So cool.
Yeah?
Vladimir, I have to tell you this because, when I'm doing a healing session, that time, like people have told me what is the problem. They've told me, they've sent me the message and everything. But when I'm doing the healing session, I say, I don't want you to be with me. They are very curious and keen. They want to be on the Zoom or the WhatsApp or the line or the call. And I say, no. When you come, you will bring too many things of you right now. And I don't need any of that. Your soul will come to my room. I will do the session. I will record and send. Mostly they are extremely shocked. How is it that I know everything, and the things they had not even asked for, I'm giving answers of. And I could never give a logical I could never explain to them why I don't need them. I only said, you will bring your personality, and then I will spend a lot more time in doing the same thing, because I'll have to clear your personality and then go to the soul level. Whereas if you don't come, then I just open the door and go there. And now I understand, it is there. It's already written. That's how it is supposed to happen, right?
Yeah, if you have a true aspiration, you may know immediately what people are looking for. Even in communication, even when people speak, somebody comes to you and starts complaining about others. And you are not listening about the complaint. You are going deeper into what is he looking for, or she. And then you see, this is something of the kind. The person is looking for the truth of his being, of his relation, of his harmony, of his love. He lacks something, he wants something, or wants to express some need or some truth, and doesn't know how to do it. So he takes the material, what is surrounding him, or whatever the events happened with his neighbors, and puts it into perspective where he tries to express that thing, but he loses the track because there's so much material which is critical, and this and that, and other forces join, all these vital forces criticizing. So he's losing the track. He cannot bring it forward. So if we are really deeply tuned within ourselves, with our own aspiration, then we can see and feel that, and help the person to kind of distinguish that very truth in him and support it, instead of criticizing the form, the imperfect form of expression. We can go deeper into the very flame of the search for the truth and support it and clarify it for the person, and person would be so happy that you do this. And you don't need even to look to that for some perfect form. It will fall by itself, as like mud falls from the shoes. It will fall. You don't need to scratch it from the shoes. You just speak about the shoes.
Yeah. How wonderful. When I was younger, I used to get bothered about the whatever they're bringing, and I was like, just stop and listen to what I'm saying. Now I don't do that. I quietly hear. And if there is a moment when they're open, I'm just talking about communication. I'm not talking about healing session. Sometimes you just say that one line, why don't you think about this on your way back home? Very calmly and softly, I just say that. I'll just get up and give a hug and put my hand on their back and say, maybe you should start drinking water a little bit. And when you were drinking water, why don't you just think about, think how does it feel to think that you are
Mm,
happy and peaceful when you're drinking water? Maybe. And suddenly you feel, yeah, like suddenly something shifts, no?
mm.
Because when I was younger, I couldn't do it this way. I used to just think, why? Because I was also like that. Now I'm becoming little
Mm.
older, becoming more wise.
Wiser.
Yeah. Little wise.
What is interesting is that when you have what this hymn also says, this verse, when you have that aspiration, real, true, in you, you can do it. Yeah. When you don't, you can't. You're kind of reacting to the words. Person attacks you, you react to defend yourself. So we are engaged in these forces. These forces engage us. Yeah, the vital forces, the dogmatic forces. And we lose the very true aspiration, Agni, yeah? Who is Aryaman, who knows the nomen, the very meaning of every aspiration, which is like kaninam. They are like kani. Kani is little girls, kanya from here, girl. They are like virgins, they didn't try yet life. They do not know yet how it is to be realized in life. So they are truths which have to grow, and they never grew yet. So he knows them, but they are covered with all kind of wrong explanations, expositions, forces joined them, wrong forces. So to find that kani, that small, young, fresh truth in everything, because everywhere, behind every action, every word, there is something true, and we're never looking for it. Yeah, but if we start aspiring ourselves, we start looking for that very thing. Why
So,
this
which is
happens to
why,
me. Mm.
yeah, I think which is why we say that our closest relationships are the toughest. They teach us the greatest lessons, because when you are with a stranger or somebody you know less, or a neighbor or somebody, then you can still try to hear the truth because you're not engaging. But when you're with your brother, your son, your spouse, your parent, you also get caught up in whatever their vital energy is, because
Yes.
you are connected and related. And that moment you forget that you have to go for the this kani and this true aspiration, and you start reacting. And that is why it is so that is why it is harder, because everything ultimately is about your own evolution, right? So in the
Mhm.
relationship you have so much material and so much muck to cross through. It is not lighter. It is like 500 extra words compared to somebody who's an outsider gives 5 words, and you have to navigate through those 500 forces to
Right.
come to that kani, and which is why you learn the maximum, because you navigate through so much meat in every relationship. So
Yeah.
this is the real truth of the this is the reason why this is the difficult aspect of
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
it is tougher to be in a relationship.
It's also the reason why this psychotherapy is so popular, because why they come to the therapists all the time to listen to their stories, because the psychotherapist is not identified with your story. He gives you a kind of uh, detached poise from which helps you actually to identify with it, with this detached position, and see for yourself, yeah, while
Mhm.
you're talking. So that's why it became so popular, because of this non-engagement, yeah, issue.
Mhm.
And it is the must for psychotherapists not to be engaged. It's the must. Yeah? If you want to
Correct.
help others, you should
Right.
not involve yourself whatsoever. I remember this funny movie, the Freaky Friday. Maybe you saw it. Mother and daughter exchanged, and
Yeah,
mother
yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
Mother was a psychotherapist, and so her daughter, 16 years old, has to go and to play psychotherapist now in her body. And she says, what should I tell your freaks? They are coming to... Don't tell them anything. You should tell them nothing whatsoever. You should nod occasionally and say, but how do you feel about it? That's the only thing she has to do. And that's it, she says. And for this you kind of get so much money. Yes, how do you feel about it? So there is no way that you should judge or come closer to that data, to that material. You have to just reflect for the person to see better.
Yeah. How wonderful. Everything is in Vedas. We should be learning it from kindergarten.
Yes, we have to also, yes, and it is so beautifully expressed because he is Svadhavan. He is the one who knows his own nature and possessing of his own Svadha, his own establishment, and knows the very meaning of these virgin aspirations who never lived yet, but they want to live, they want to manifest in the world. So he gives them more and more space. He clears up for them the space, you know. He adjusts all other forces for them that they can embody and live. It's exactly why people are communicating. They want to bring that truth to life, to manifest it in some way. They don't know why they do it, yeah? But that truth in them wants to be manifested, and they are just instrumental to it. So you also anjanti mitram sudhitam nagobhih. They brighten thee with the light of her rays as love. Perfectly founded when thou makest of one mind the Lord and his spouse in their mansion. This is something we have to look into. This is another profound statement. They purify and brighten you as Mitra, these virgin aspirations within us. They purify and brighten you, the Agni, the flame, as Mitra. You become as Mitra, as the Lord of the divine consciousness, the God of love, the harmonies, with their illuminations making soul and nature equal with one thought. And with one thought. So the soul and nature, Dampati is this Lord and his spouse. Usually this is the mysterious language of the Veda, which Aurobindo says this is Purusha and Prakriti, and he will have here soul and nature. And the mansion is the human body. So in the human body, soul and nature become of one thought, become equal. Soul and nature are bridged by these kanis, by these illuminations, virgins, who are supported. If we do this support, we are bridging the inner and outer, and we can feel it immediately. We can feel we become one again, because our truth is understood, and not only understood, brought forward, manifested. That means our outer being is joining our inner being. There's no more difference. There's no more need to express something because the outer is so different from inner, because the expression is already fulfilled. So in one of his letters, Sri Aurobindo writes, I indicate the psychological powers which they bring with them. Mitra, it is harmony. Varuna, wideness. Aryaman, power. Tapasya. Brahaspati, wisdom, word and knowledge. Vishnu, cosmic consciousness. Vayu, life. There are several here quotations which are quite important for us. For if the truth of Surya is to be established firmly in our mortal nature, there are previous conditions that are indispensable. A vast purity and clear wideness, destructive of all sin and crooked falsehood, and this is Varuna. A luminous power of love and comprehension, leading and forming into harmony all our thoughts, acts, and impulses, and this is Mitra. An immortal puissance of clear discerning aspiration and endeavor, this is Aryaman. A happy spontaneity of the right enjoyment of all things, dispelling the evil dream and of sin and error and suffering. This is Bhaga. These four, Varuna, Mitra, Aryaman, Bhaga, Sri Aurobindo calls they are the protectors of light. They are the guardians of the truth. These four powers of the truth of Surya. These represent, they are all Adityas. Yeah? These are the layers of Surya which are within Surya. Varuna, Mitra, Aryaman, Bhaga. There are three more, Daksha, Amsha, and Surya. So Aryaman is the one who knows the secret sense of the unripe radiances of our aspiration in the heart, our psychic being. He holds the secret meaning of their nature and their growth, for they are kani, small, virgin, unripe. But their secret meaning is profound, similar to Guhyam Nama Gonam, this from the same verse, in the next verse. Thus he can focus them in their growth towards the goal of their aspiration. Guhyam Nama, hidden meaning, hidden name of the radiances. So these radiances of our psychic aspiration towards the divine have brightened up and anointed Agni, who shines now as loving Mitra, divine consciousness. Thus they equalize and make nature and soul agree to collaborate, samanasa, in the body. Samanasa with the same manas, with the same mind. They have the same, there is no discrepancy between different intentions. They have the same one mind. It is with the radiances of the psychic love that the nature can be included into and become part of the spiritual life and totally surrender to the divine. It is with these radiances that the gap between here and the beyond can be bridged, and the psychic transformation can initiate the spiritualization and supramentalization of our being. Now, here I'm using the Sri Aurobindo's terminology, spiritualization and supramentalization. These are the stages, of our transformation. The first stage is to bring the inner aspiration forward in the individual sense. So the psychic being is to step to the front. Then it has to enlarge itself with all the Godheads. This is exactly the hymn. All the Godheads become Him. He is all of them. He grows and becomes as vast as the universe. Our individual self becomes as vast as the universe. And then it opens up to this supramental, to the transcendental being, and the Satchitananda can enter into this manifestation. And one more verse. Tavashriye maruto marjayanta rudroya te janima charu chitram padam yat vishno hupamam nidhayi tena pasi guhyam nama gonam. This is the phrase I was referring to in the previous. For the glory of thee, O violent one, the thought powers make to shine out by their pressure, the thought powers, maruts, by their pressure, that which is thy rich and beautiful birth. By pressure, that which is thy rich and beautiful birth. And there is a footnote 31. What is this birth? It is the supreme world of light. 31, I think, yeah. Let me read the whole thing and then read all of them. When that highest stride of Vishnu has been established within, thou protectest by it the secret name of the herds of the radiances. This is something to protect the secret name by this third step of Vishnu. We will come to it. Aurobindo speaks on it. It's very kind of occult meaning is here. So it is for your glory, it's my interpretation, O Agni, named Rudra, O Agni named Rudra, that the Maruts, the powers of thought, polish your birth beautiful and bright. When the most excellent realm of Vishnu is absolutely established within, it is by this establishment that you protect the secret name of the luminous herds of knowledge. Here something we have to read. Aurobindo writes in one of the letters, the name of the divine is usually called in for protection, for adoration, for increase of bhakti. It is the name which is creating bhakti and protection. For the opening up of the inner consciousness, for the realization of the divine in that aspect. As far as it is necessary to work in the subconscious, for that, the name must be effective there. But the name has to be also protected by the highest realm of Vishnu, as the cosmic consciousness established within. The highest divine sense of the illuminations of knowledge is found in the superconscient worlds of supreme light, says Aurobindo. So, the highest divine sense of illuminations of knowledge is the secret name of the herds of the radiance. The highest sense is protected within the highest realm of their habitat. Rishi says, after mentioning the secret name of the unripe radiances of Aryaman in the previous verse, that the secret name of the meaning of the radiances in the highest stride of Vishnu and in the heart of man is of the same purpose and nature. The meaning and the purpose of the radiances of the aspiration in the heart through unripe yet is the same as that of the realized radiances of the Supreme. This is something important where it's not very clearly expressed, but there are three fires. One is that rising from the depth of the heart, and these are the radiances, yes, unripe radiances. They are not yet manifested, but they will be. There is the higher Vishnu's support of already realized in the transcendental sense radiances, but not here. They need to match. We need to match this aspiration call and that answer. They have to come together, as it were. And there is one more. It is this of Maruts. Maruts and Rudra. Rudra, something in nature, also corresponds to our call in the heart. In the nature itself, in our physical nature, in our material universe, there is some truth which wants to correspond to our aspiration in the heart and the response from above of the highest realm of Vishnu. And these all three have the same hidden secret meaning. Yeah? Only we do not see it yet. Once we see it, the realization is kind of unavoidable. This is
what is the meaning of protection in all the three, like what you have explained? Like
protection. It has to be protected because it has to be, as Aurobindo says somewhere in Savitri, that the wise men, so the God will grow. God will grow when the wise men talk and sleep. Yeah, it will be hidden. It must be hidden. And believe shall be naught till the work is done. It must be hidden, this, because if these forces awaken to this kind of meaning, secret meaning of our inner being too early, they will block it. Yeah? It has to be protected. It has to be kept in its own way. From here, all the secrecy of the Veda, all this language, occultism, it cannot be revealed too soon to these forces of vital and mental, because they are imperfect and they would want to take advantage of it. And that's what is happening. That's the case in our life all the time. Mother says, when we invoke the grace, grace comes. And when it comes, we forget the purpose that what we invoked it for. And we start using it for our own aggrandizing, our ego, our promotion, money, this, that. We create courses as we do. So we start using this treasure, which is meant for transformation, for other purposes. This is hijacking of this light, of this treasure, by the lower forces, and building on them our own empires of egoism, and that's what usually people do, and we also. I do this all the time, and I catch myself on this thought that something in me, in my nature, constantly trying to join the movement of the truth, trying to be part of it, as it were, and put it into perspective, make it out of it something useful, something deliverable, something acceptable by others, something marketable. This is all that thing, that thing which wants to use the divine for its own sake, and keep it there as an imprisonment, as in a kind of imprisonment, and selling it as panis are doing, selling that treasure without knowing its value, but knowing it's valuable, but not knowing what it is about, but knowing that gold has value, but why, we don't know why. It just has values. That's why we sell it. So these forces are of that kind. They know that it is valuable, but they want to promote themselves with them, and not to change, but to promote their own way of being. That's why it needs protection. And protection, as we saw it last time, the best protection is this flame. When the fire is kindled, when he is burning, then this is the greatest protector of all of these forces. I hope I don't discourage you to do the course with us.
No, I was thinking how I could differentiate how things have happened in my life. When I have tried to be this, then those courses never have any registration, nothing happens there. And when I just see this, people really need it, and there is no way, even if there were people didn't pay, but I must offer, I must help them to, then it is done. So I was seeing how the divine intelligence works in my life, because I sometimes fall victim to this, sometimes I rise above it, like all of us. So I
Yeah,
was just
yeah.
noticing this, how
Very
the minute
nice.
I'm arrogant, it just that course will never happen. There'll be zero registration. And then when I'm like, no, 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 I must offer it to people, and I will tell 4 people, you cannot pay, it doesn't matter, but you need it because you're going through this, you're going through, and then they come. So I'm thinking, oh my God, they decide also what needs to be done and not. So I was thinking that way.
It's absolutely true. I'm so long in this also, in this business of offering courses. So I notice many times the most inspired presentations with the most truthful state of consciousness were done when no registration was there, no recording, everything was
Yeah.
missed, everything
No
was,
peace.
and it happened to be the best. It
Yes.
was. I still remember those moments of a little kind of illumination. Yeah,
And so
and
much
then
learning while you were teaching, because you just learned everything you needed to learn,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
There's this fresh, true perception. But I learned to not to pay attention too much to the other part, which is also indispensable part of our life, such as money and life. And you cannot be always a beggar and depend on other people, especially in this setting of life. You need
Right.
to be quite independent from them. And I felt so good when I had enough resources to be independent from others. Really, not to be in the position. Maybe it's an ego sense. Yes, it's an ego. Yeah, I agree. Why should I be so wanting to be independent? Be dependent. It's okay. Why do you have to react that they are humiliating you? Don't feel being humiliated. So it's actually it's true both ways. True. But still, there is something in me which doesn't want that. I would rather economize on that energy. But maybe that is also an escape of some kind, to leave that ego sense within me.
I think being able to be self dependent gives more time for you to do the things that you truly want to learn. I look at it that way, instead of sustainability and sustenance, and I feel it will give me freedom to choose the experiences and explorations and knowledge that I truly seek, without having to depend on others. So I look at it that way. Also, many times we diminish people's payability by not asking them to pay. So we also need to give them the scope for them to become self-dependent, independent, because after all, we need to understand that abundance is truly what life is. I mean, we have food, we have breath, we have
Absolutely,
water. It is
absolutely,
abundance. So I
absolutely.
think that. But
I
coming
agree
back,
with you. I'm very much more impersonal now, and especially now when I'm not earning for myself, because then all the money goes to Allah Gras, so I'm kind of free from
yeah,
this burden to survive with my courses, which
yeah,
makes me so I'm so relaxed finally. I don't need to convince anyone in anything.
yeah.
Um, so it's great.
It's freedom. Also, I think when we come in this state of being, like, I understand how you are, is similar now. I'm feeling, I feel that everything, like you're saying, this buying and the selling and the marketing, how many people have come to me and said, you should do an Instagram and promoted marketing and payment. I don't know what they want me to become. I'm like, when I'm nobody, how can I become someone? Right now, the whole purpose is to become no one, right? And then you're telling me to become someone. Like you said, create an empire. They come up with proposals which make you feel so tiny and so diminished, just because you're trying to put what you're saying. You don't know the true value, and you're just trying to
Right.
project a valuability. But coming
Absolutely,
back,
absolutely. Especially if you know that what you are dealing with, like me dealing with Rig Veda, how can I really even put any framework on it or say what it is or sell it or say how great it is? It is greater than the great. It is. So how could you really market it? You can't market Rig Veda. You can't market any of this knowledge. It is going far beyond any marketing capacity. And still, there is a need in marketing, a need in this kind of petty, small physical relations with others, because they are built on this ground. And so you are kind of in this dilemma between the two ways of living.
So coming back to the hymn, isn't the same thing like you're saying the Kani, the unripe radiance, and then the established the Vishnu, and in between is all of this, which is where all of us are, right? So the third Agni. So it is in between. So what is it's
Here, this
a
Marjayanti,
clarification.
Maruts, this is the third one, which is in between. The Maruts are clarifying, they are making the birth of Rudra possible, beautiful. This is interesting, the birth of, we will come to it next time to continue, because this is exactly where the transformation of nature takes place, and nature changes, and no more, burdened with this kind of marketing or no marketing. It changes totally its formation, its framework. So I would, but it is not happening yet. It is the process of real transformation, sacrifice, yes, which is changing our society, changing our relations, changing our friendship, and all what we are. So it's in the process. It's not yet finalized.
I have an idea that you could do, Vladimir. Later on, I'll tell you. I got it from the previous hymn. I think you should do something about that, but later.
Yeah, previous hymn is also boom, what a big thing. And this one is all another. So his hymn after hymn, each hymn is the whole vision with all the possible true relations. That's amazing. Rig Veda is so rich, and there are thousands of such hymns, Great. Okay, I will close with mantra because I have another appointment.
What happened?
Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santo Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shri Guru Namaha Hari Om. Hari Om. Namaste.